How to negotiate a speaker fee.
And I think to myself, I wouldn't speak for that low fee.
That's what I think about when I think about negotiating a speaker fee. So often it happens where somebody comes at you and wants you to speak and they don't have the money and you need to negotiate. So how are you going to do that? Sometimes I'll sing and laugh about it, but in reality, it's not a laughing matter. It's something where you need to take it serious, but you also need to have a couple of tools in your bag of tricks in order to know, well, should I walk away? Should I sit here and negotiate because there's other things that I want out of this opportunity? Or what can I do to make this happen? And so I'm going to give you those tools today. Stick around, here we go. So I want you to think about negotiation is seriously an art form. It's like entertainment. It's a performance. It's something that you have to work at. And there are so many different aspects to negotiating for yourself and getting the fees that you deserve. The first place to start is the importance of knowing what you're worth. Yeah, knowing your speech is worth something. And so often when we discount it, we also feel like we've discounted ourselves. I know whenever I get a full fee, it's way different than when I discount the fee because I took the gig feeling like I needed to. You see, when I discount the fee, things are way different than if it's a full fee, meaning I show up and the discounted fee usually means they don't have the right setup of audio-visual equipment for me. That then compromises my presentation ability. Oh, that's a bummer. And then the next thing I know, they're asking me for more and more and more things. This happens every time you negotiate down or discount yourself as a speaker. And then the opposite of that, which is so interesting, is sticking to your value, knowing your worth, and getting your full fee. Oh, that's the best, right? See, the difference between the discounted fee and the full fee is this. I show up at the airport for a full fee event, and there is a driver standing there with my name on a sign. Ooh, yes, please. I get in a limousine. Oh yeah, thank you. I'll put my feet up on the seat. And then I get to the hotel and I have a nicer room. I get in the room and there's something waiting for me on the bed, like some treats or a drink, something that they've actually gifted me, a gift basket. I'm like, man, I love getting my full fee. And then guess what else they do? This is interesting. The client actually invests all that they need to give you to have a successful presentation on your audiovisual needs. Yes, they treat you the right way when you stick to your fee. And I know I've built that up now, so you're like, oh man, I can't wait to figure out how to negotiate from low to high. And so we're going to talk about how to do that now. Let's talk about the 3 W's of negotiation. The first is what? We need to talk about the services you offer. And so when you're on the phone and you're talking to somebody about this, and by the way, I almost forgot to mention this altogether, don't do this over email. That may sound obvious. Get them on a Zoom call if you can. Get in person if possible. At least get a phone call. You don't want to try to negotiate in an email. It never works well. So first of all, with the first W of what? What services do you offer? You need to practice and be firm in saying what you offer for your speaking fee. So often, that's the hardest part of any speaker's life, is not delivering the speech, it's saying what we charge. I charge this much. It's hard. And so I need you to practice that first. What services do you offer? So I'll say it like this. When somebody says to me, what do you charge for a speech? If they're looking for that answer for the number right away, after we've done some talking and communicating first, I'm going to then say, as a keynote speaker, I receive $25,000 per speech. Isn't that amazing? And then I pause and I wait to either watch them or hear them fall off their chair. Now I know this is going to happen. And so then I'll just pause and let them choke a little bit. And when they come back and go, oh, we don't have that in our budget. And I know that's what's coming. And so I'll often say, what were the speakers that you had in the past? And what were the fees that they charged? I'd love to know what you have in your budget. And then when they give me the number, and it's usually tragically low, then we have to have a little bit more of a discussion about what I offer in terms of why and how the keynote matters. The second W is why. why your keynote matters and why they should pay your full fee. And so I'll give them all the whys as to why it should be me that they choose. For example, who can bring that level of entertainment? Who's going to share the signature moves that only I can do? Who's going to give them tools that they can walk away with for their leadership promise to be discovered and even greater in their convention and their event? Here's one thing I do have to tell you though, and I'm being very candid about this. You have to be willing to walk away from the gig. That is not what you came here to find out, but I'm just telling you. Here's why. If you're willing to walk away from the opportunity, even if they have a half or 2/3 of the fee that you need, if you're willing to say, you know what, I actually can't do it for anything less than my fee. Let's maybe talk in a year when you have a bigger budget for your event. Oh my gosh, how many times I've done this that they call me the next day and they say, somehow we found the money. And that's a real thing that happens. Other times I'll say, well, let's talk about why it would be important for you to make the investment from a different account or different place. You see, I'm bringing education. Is there an education budget you could add to this? Or how about we could talk about a sponsorship, somebody who could help kind of leverage some of this cost a little bit for you. The next thing they know, they've created for themselves, through my suggestions, ideas as to how their budget can go up. The third W is who. The audience is the who, and so I'll lean into that and the importance of the message for that audience. Yes, I will tell them about how awesome it's going to be. I'm going to create a grand vision for them. Usually we're doing this leading up to me quoting the fee of what I'm charging. And so you mostly want to find out how you can get information out of the client. You want them to talk the most and you to talk the least. You're just listening and gathering information so that you can then give them the quote of your fee. The fee is probably going to be high in most cases, and so now you get to go through all these 3 W's in order to make it work for them. I do have a word to say about a friend of mine who's a master of this. He's actually way better than me at it, and his name is Phil M. Jones. Yes, he wrote a book called Exactly What to Say. And he has certain magic words that he uses, and I'm going to borrow from those right now because this man is masterful at the phrases that he uses. Hopefully this will be helpful for you, and we credit Phil Jones for this. He likes to say things like, I'm not sure this is for you, but... I love that. That makes you feel like, oh, wait a minute, of course it's for me. What a great way to lead with. What I'll do when I say that, I'm not sure it's for you, but I might offer that I also do a workshop. I also do some coaching and mentoring. We could do a breakout session, or maybe we could do some trade as well. They always go, oh, that's interesting. Never thought of it that way. And then their fee sometimes raises. Phil Jones also uses the phrase, how open-minded are you to... ... In other words, how open-minded are you to the possibility of us doing something a little bit different? What if I came in and customized this presentation to you? I'm going to meet with your people a bunch of times prior to the speech. This will add extra value for them to say, wow, we can't just give them the fee that we have to find more money in our budget, and often they will. Before we move on, and I give you some more ideas, I'd love it if you just throw in the comments some of the best phrases and ways that you have negotiated your speaker fee to be higher. Let's talk about a couple more of my friends who are really good at what I'm talking about. Phil M. Jones is one of my favorites to discuss. Let's also talk about Kelly Swanson. Kelly Swanson is a Hall of Fame speaker. She is a storyteller. She can also get on stage and wow the audience with humor, with all kinds of engagement. She is so powerful. She's often able to take a keynote plus some workshopping of the executive speakers that are going to be on stage, and that helps her build up her fee. Another genius at this, her name is Laurie Guest. Now, Laurie Guest has some very cool ways of negotiating that I love. She calls it sweet spot pricing. So she'll quote a low fee, a middle fee, and a really high fee that she kind of doesn't want to do. Oftentimes she's looking for that sweet spot right in the middle. The lower fee is something that she's okay doing. It's probably local. It's not a big deal. The middle fee is where she's going for. The big fee is something she's like, if they take this, then I have a lot of work to do. But that gives them a nice range to work within, so she's able to negotiate her higher fee. So here are some strategies for negotiating speaker fees. I hope that you'll check out those other speakers I talked about because they're friends of mine and they do it well. It's nice to see how people are negotiating, and of course it's not on their website. You know about them now personally, but here's some good ways to negotiate your fees. First of all, be transparent. Honesty is really the best ticket. So if you are flexible in any way, whether it's because of your travel schedule or it's near your home, you choose, it's up to you. Package deals. That's a great way to get the fee to be raised. In other words, you could say, hey, let's do the keynote plus a Q&A session. Maybe we can do some workshops. Maybe I can do some follow-up coaching that will combine all into that full fee. Trade. Ooh, I love trade. So many times people say, I would rather just have the money. And I say, I love money, yes, but I also might get trade for something that I really want. In fact, we once did trade for a wedding ring. We once did trade for shelves in our house. We once even did trade for the C-section deliveries of our babies. I'm not even joking. Another way to negotiate your speaking fee is to get video or audio of the event. This can be very valuable for yourself. And so if you can't get the fee up any higher, you could say, well, in order to cover the costs that we're missing, how about you give me some video footage and give me some testimonials from some of the people that are there. Oftentimes the meeting planner will be thrilled to offer that. Deferred payment. How about setting up a payment plan? This is something that we've done before and it works out pretty well. And then of course, counter offers. Be prepared to offer something else that you could do instead. So you could say, look, that fee is what I do this for. However, I have a different program and this is the program you're working on that's not perfect. Then you can go and deliver something new, get the footage. Wow, you just got paid a decent fee, not your full fee for your best stuff, but rather a decent fee for a program you're still working on. So if you're a new speaker, these are some of the challenges that you face, and I just want to give you some ideas as to how you can do this negotiation process because it's probably quite new. First of all, you want to establish your speaking fee and you want to do all you can to stick to it. However, you can also, because you're starting out, say, okay, I'm happy to do it for that in order to get these other things. For seasoned speakers, it's maybe time to reevaluate the packages that you offer. And so maybe you are at a point where you're charging too high, and it might be time to say, okay, maybe I need to change my fee structure or I need to actually get better at what I'm doing. One of the most important parts that's quite obvious in terms of speaking in the business itself is having a contract in place. Yeah, if you only have a verbal agreement, oh man, unfortunately, that's why I had to write the promise to the one. It's because people break promises all the time, especially verbal agreements. So get it in writing, get the contract set, and then you'll have much more of an opportunity to have this happen. Now, for the absolute expert speakers, not the first timers, not the middle of the career ones, I want you to think about the guy that's in the middle of the trenches that's been doing this for years. I want you to be brave enough to walk away from the gig. Honestly, that is for me the best negotiation tactic I've ever used because I know they're coming at me for a certain reason. They want me for what only I can deliver. I have actually walked away from events where people have said, we only have this amount and I'm way up here. And I just say, hey, look, if we can't find a middle ground or we can't get any closer, and they say, we cannot. I say, that's okay. Just let me know when your budget is a little bit bigger and we'll work together. I've waited over a decade for some clients that called me every single year with the same low fee. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm still this fee and my fee is gonna go up here soon as well. So I would love to work with you. It's interesting to me where even after years and years, people would call and say, we finally worked our way up to get your fee for you. We're excited to have you. And then they treat me as if it's the greatest thing in the world to have me there. So I'd like to invite you, if you're interested in getting better at negotiating fees, becoming a better speaker, and having some mentoring along with me, I would love to give you something that is kind of rare for somebody in my position to give out. But I know you'll respect if I give you my email address. So my email is jason@jasonhewlett.com. If you put in the subject line mentoring, I would love to chat with you about how we can help you negotiate those fees and get up to a place where you say,
And I think to myself, I get my fee every time. Yeah!